As Aaron starts moving to the northeast, we should see a much better set of conditions, even though a little bit breezy today. So there's your long-term weather outlook for Thursday. It is the 21st of August. It's crazy how fast time flies, I feel, these days. But anyway, Hurricane Aaron continues to cause trouble along the coast and even some rains this morning. Maybe even you saw a shower or something from it. We're going to see some winds pick up today, but gusts up in the low 20s. Nothing too bad. I think we'll see some clearing skies as the day goes on. We'll definitely clear out overnight. Going to be a beautiful Friday. Highs up in the low 80s. Oftentimes, on the back end, after a hurricane moves out of the way, we get the sinking air, which causes much drier conditions. Drier conditions will try to stick around Saturday, but get a little bit warmer and humid. Chances of some showers and storms possible late in the day. Much better chance on Sunday of some showers and storms, which sets us up for a beautiful stretch into the middle part of next week with highs around 80 on Monday, and then the mid and upper 70s both Tuesday and Wednesday. Beautiful days. You're going to want to get outside. Just looks amazing. Great touch of fall weather as we head towards the end of August. Our typical time when we start to see these intrusions of cooler air kind of giving us a heads up that the weather's changing. Seasons are coming. We actually only have, 9 more days of meteorological summer before meteorological fall begins. All right, so let's quickly go through the forecast. You can see, as I was mentioning, that the Hurricane Aaron goes off the East Coast. It will go up into the Northeast Atlantic, and we should clear out. Be a nice Friday. Here we are on Saturday. You see some moisture increasing. Winds will turn around to the southwest, giving us increase in some humidity, and maybe then an afternoon shower storm. There's another storm off the East Coast that's expected, but it's going to be kept way out to sea, although there may be some local development here. I'm not too worried about too much, but I just feel bad for anybody along the coast. It's been a stormy, rough pattern for people, and a lot of challenges with riptides and everything else. So I feel bad for anyone having these beach vacations. This is a much cooler set of air, and you can see it's even being helped by this low up into the northeast part of Canada. This is a huge spilling northerly winds into the United States. Much cooler than normal. Our highs early next week are going to be really coming down. 80 on Monday, but then we're talking about mid and upper 70s. We'll have to see if some unsettled weather visits us next week. But in general, the pattern looks cooler than normal. I mean, this is kind of like I'm not saying it's winter, but a wintry light pattern where we get the cooler air in place and a low trying to ride up along the front on the coast. A couple, 3 months later, whatever, that would have been a close call, which is something we'll just say. But anyway, cooler conditions sticking around all week long. So I think it's just like the week of summer. Of course, as we end summer, it's going to go out with a beautiful set of weather that's sticking around. There's nothing really showing major warm-up until way late in the period. Here we go, where we start to see some of the return flow here off the ocean. But we still have this high pushing cooler air in and keeping us in a nice pattern. The only concern I have is as these highs kind of build east, they're going to start pushing moisture off the ocean. So although it's not showing here, we could see some cloudier conditions and kind of damp like we saw earlier this week. Maybe not as pronounced, but easterly flows, very, very common this time of year. And they'll mess up the forecast because it looks like we'll be sunning on a few days earlier on the models and then turn around. This looks like a warm-up that's going to come later, and then this high from the north is going to try to push down and cool us off. But again, this looks more like an easterly flow type of scenario. You can see the cold air damming. That's not going to be the best. This is a huge warm-up, though, on the backside into the middle part of the country. And will this push east? Probably. Will we see more 90-degree weather? We probably will. It may be a little bit late into September, but would not be surprised to see a warm-up at some point. This, by the way, looks just dismal. I mean, it looks clear, but this is easterly winds off the ocean. All right, so what do the temperatures look like overall? Let's look at the maximum temperatures. We'll get close this time to home. I think it's important to kind of see what's happening here in our own backyard. So these are maximum temperatures, over a 24-hour period. So here we're going to be looking as we go into today and tomorrow into the 80s, then over the weekend into the 80s, mid and upper maybe. 80s are possible, and then into early next week. Wow, this shows a really big warm-up here. So this is not what's showing up on the forecast, by the way. This is the forecast model showing. That's pretty warm for Sunday. I think because of the clouds and the chance for showers and storms, that's unlikely. But that was a really big push of warm air, at least on this model from this overnight run. But then when we get to our front coming through here, so we're going Monday into Tuesday, much cooler conditions. Again, highs up around 80 and then into the 70s for the middle part of next week. But, as we head out in time, of course, towards the end of next week, you have in the 80s again, but not a super big warm up. And here we are back in the 70s by next weekend. And then we're going to start to see influences of things that we can't really foretell. This is that long term, as I said, it kind of looks like maybe we'll get into a warm up before maybe a reinforcing shot of some cooler air comes in late in the pattern. And you know what? The best way to show all this, which I should have done originally, was to go into the upper level air anomalies. I'm going to book through this because I know I'm already going way too long on this outlook. But here's, air moving on out, the cooler air that's being pulled in into the weekend. A little bit warmer, as we saw, going into Sunday. But here's that cool air pushing down and the upper levels coming in over us and then settling in for a long stay into the following week. So it's all the upper level, all the way out to the end of August. Cool air is kind of shunted a little bit to the west, but still we're staying well below normal heights. And then maybe we warm up, as I said, in the longer range. And this is that big warm up coming across the country that I think eventually will impact us, but it's going to have a hard time eroding the warmer air. All right, really quick look at how much rain is expected over the next 7 days. Not a whole lot. When we get local here, the overall rain amount pretty muted. I mean, maybe a quarter to a half an inch. A little bit increased because of the terrain. I guess helping some of the moisture get squeezed out of the atmosphere. Not a whole lot. But look at these weather, the cool anomaly over the 6 to 10 day. Very cool weather expected in our region. And even the extended cool air expected in the region. Precip amounts are looking kind of dry and then near normal. So, all right, that's it. That was a long outlook. Have an awesome Thursday or Friday Eve, as we say. Aaron's impacts are going to decrease. We'll have a pretty nice day tomorrow and on Saturday, but then the chance of some showers and storms on Sunday, and then a beautiful next week. Have a good one.